And we are live.
Knock, knock, knock. What's the password to the Legends Clubhouse? We're back. I'm Bobby Kaboose. This is Monday Night Lawson. Um, you know, we're back for a second week. We didn't give up. We're on a Monday this time instead of a Tuesday.
We are on a Monday
Hopefully
this time.
hopefully people can hear us this time
Oh, we're good.
on Monday. Okay, cool. Um, man, a lot of stuff happening over the weekend, man. Wrestlemania.
NHL,
We
NBA
have
playoffs
new,
started.
we have new champions all across the board.
Yeah.
My Pistons lost game one. Uh, what the fuck else is going on?
My Lakers lost game one, so that's we kind of
Yeah,
got bullied, but it's all good. Game two is on Tuesday.
Bullied. What's new?
They just
What's new?
for whatever like they started out great, especially when you look statistically, Luka had a fantastic game, but when the Minnesota Timberwolves hit a franchise record 21 threes in the playoffs, you tip your cap.
Dude, who are the Grizzlies playing? 'Cause I saw they lost by 55.
The Thunder. The Thunder have been they've been one of, if not the best team in the NBA all season long. They could easily go 10 deep in the playoffs, and in the playoffs, and especially in the most recent years, your bench unit kind of gets shrunk. You'll have like an 8-9 man rotation about 6 or 7 guys, but it's just like they got destroyed by 51. They were down 56 in the fourth. Just a lot of Memphis just came out flat. And
wasn't there a deal with the Thunder that they received like 412 draft picks from somebody?
Yeah,
they've just been cashing.
They've had so many draft picks, and they still have, I think, I don't know, 12 more in the next 4 drafts, which is just insane. And the fact that all of their young talent has meshed really well together and grown together. If they want to go get a Kevin Durant or somebody, you have the draft capital to go get them, or if or what I was thinking about, because Cooper Flagg's gonna go number 1 in the draft. If they just want to say whoever ends up with the number 1 pick, here we'll give you 5 first-round picks for it. Give us the number 1 pick, because who's gonna be the team that's
generational talent?
Yeah, 100%.
So because the NBA draft, especially the NBA draft, is you don't see many busts. Like if you're at the top of the draft, most likely you're gonna be somebody. It's always the top 3 picks that are usually pan out regardless, because you can tell if you're gonna be able to ball or if you're not gonna be able to ball. It's not like any other sport where it's okay, well, there's a question mark here. Can they take it to the next level? Usually they can in the NBA. But anyway, dude, WrestleMania.
Let's jump right in.
Hey, man. So I don't even know where to begin.
Night one.
I just want to say 90% of my fucking predictions were spot on.
They were to a T.
My articles throughout the week.
Yeah.
Night one, I think maybe the only thing that I missed was Bianca not turning heel, and that was a little bit of a bold prediction.
Yeah, because whenever you go out on a limb, per se, and do those storyline arcs as to who turns bad, it's kind of a bold prediction, but we love it.
Right. Yeah. I'm pulling up Twitter right now just so we can make sure we can go through
all the results,
the matches and so night one.
While you're doing that, we already knew who the first match was. So how do you feel about Jay finally getting over the top?
I don't mind it. I said that I actually thought Gunther was gonna win at Mania, and then Jay might get a rematch at Backlash.
Right.
But to put Jay over, I'm fine with it. The way they put him over was kind of weak to me.
A submission?
Gunther's really gonna tap out? He's gonna tap out?
That, to me, I immediately thought, well, if he's gonna tap, it's kind of bullies get bullied, so he couldn't take it. But I 100%, because they've built him up as this just destroyer. And for him to willingly tap out, per se, it's like, oh, that's how it's going to happen. and you're gonna do it with a sleeper that Gunther uses.
Right, and like he's never used the sleeper before. I get he hit like 3 splashes in a row, and Gunther had some. It looked like internal bleeding, which I think added to it a little bit. But
Yeah,
yeah, it was just weird for like, and he tapped out quick too. It wasn't like
it
he
wasn't
was.
like he was on it. Nail on the you hit it right on the nail. It's not that Jay held it for 40 seconds and it's like, oh, he's gonna tap.
Right.
It was just
Uh,
a instantaneous. Oh well, I'm cinched in. This wraps.
right. And it was. Like I said, I'm glad he got his flowers. He's one of the most over superstars in the WWE right now.
Mm,
Um, Overall, it was pretty good match. I just, like I said, I just didn't like the ending. I actually thought it was going to be reversed as far as Gunther, putting him in a sleeper and almost beating the shit out of Jay, where Jay kept kicking out and Gunther couldn't put him away, and then finally he just got too brutal with like a sleeper or something, and Jimmy had to like come in and be like, no, end the match, end the match, end the match, and then maybe Jay gets a rematch because of that, because he's like, oh, I'm not the one that tapped or passed out or whatever.
whatever the case may be. Yeah.
Yeah, but it, like I said, I'm glad Jay was able to live his childhood dream of winning the world heavyweight title,
Yeah.
but it was just weird to me as far as how.
Mm.
Um but But yeah, man, what did you think about that ending, or just the match in general,
I thought the
ring
match was.
general?
I thought the ring general. I thought the match was fine. I didn't have any. I didn't have any problem with whether it be duration, moves, X, Y, Z. I've told you, off camera, I'm not a fan of overusing a finisher because
Yeah,
it kind of takes the pizzazz or the the jaw dropping. Holy shit, he kicked
100%.
out of whatever. But yeah, to have Jay win it, cool. How he won it, I don't know. I kind of like you said, it would have been perfect to build it up as Gunther beats the shit out of him at Mania, and then Jay gets a rematch at Backlash or something. But it doesn't
Yeah.
matter because the title is eventually going to end up on his waist anyways. Yeah,
Right. And I guess if you even did go the backlash route, like at that point, Jay would have lost, I think, 4 times to Gunther. So like, did he really deserve another title shot? So
yeah,
I get why they did it at
hmm
Mania, but again, like for me, not every big moment has to happen at Mania. Like they have to put some stock into these other PLEs. There is a reason why there's a down season with WWE, and it's going to be coming in the next. Backlash is kind of the start of that down season. You
hmm
have the Raw after Mania, which is always huge. Now they're creating the SmackDown after Mania is huge. And then it kind of, slowly but surely dies down and then builds back up for SummerSlam, because
right,
the summer is the a little bit of the off season, because that people are out doing shit or on vacation or whatever, not paying attention. With their PLEs, their numbers are a little bit down because people are doing shit on Saturdays. It's
right.
warm out. And shit like that. But yeah, I get why they did it. I just, maybe if he wouldn't have been already 0 for 3 against Gunther and faced him a few times, maybe they could have done it that way. But
Yeah.
anyway.
hmm
The next match was the New Day and the War Raiders, again, new champions with the New Day.
hmm
Um I thought this was a great match. Um the finish was amazing,
Yeah.
where Kofi was just holding his leg, and they get the quick win, and then they just grab the titles, and
Dip.
before the ref knows what actually happened, they fucking just run off.
Right.
I was expecting Big E to interfere in this, but surprising that he didn't, because I think he is technically medically cleared, so he could do stuff. But
Mm.
what'd you think? The
Um.
fucking, I think just like I said before, in Vegas, the Raiders lose. No matter if it's the Las Vegas Raiders in the NFL or the War Raiders, they're going to lose in Vegas.
To piggyback off of what you said, I thought the finish was to a T. It was a solid match. And I think I said it last week. If you're not the opener, you don't want to be in this 2-hole. You don't. It's the okay. You're big pop hook grab match, and then it's okay. Now everyone can go to the bathroom, go get a hot dog, nachos, whatever the case may be. However, the match was great. The finish was better, and the way they executed it, how like you said, Kofi holds the legs, and then they get the titles and dip, all in a matter of about 17 seconds. Like it was 1, 2, 3. The following 14 get the titles, bounce. That's it. I thought it was a solid second match, considering.
Yeah, and New Day wins their, I think it's like their 13th
something
tag
ridiculous.
team title.
Yeah.
And this is I believe this is the first time they're going to be holding the titles as heels, so it should put a little bit more juice into it. The way their heel turn is working out, I think is great. I just love how the other superstars are like, man, how can you say it's a Big E?
Right.
and shutting them out of the locker room and shit like that. So I again agree with the decision with the change. I just said, man, there's something about the War Raiders. I don't know if it's because they keep changing their name. They even came out as Vikings at Mania, but they dropped the Viking name. Like, what are you doing right now? I know it was like the Clash of Clans fucking promo, but like,
right.
Come on, man. Like, you dropped that name for a reason, and then you're gonna be like, oh, there's a sponsorship, so we're gonna dress up as Vikings, but we're not gonna use the Vikings name, and we're just gonna look like idiots. I don't know. I don't know what those dudes need to do to get over, as far as in my mind.
Yeah.
Because like even if you noticed the bigger one, I don't know which one that is. Ivar. That's how much I care about this team, and I think it's Ivar.
Whichever the bigger one is.
Yeah, he's in the middle of the ring with war.
Yeah,
nobody in the crowd's doing it.
He's trying to, get the crowd into it, but yeah, it's just
and no one cares.
Right.
No, they would rather just boo the New Day than do your stupid war chant.
Right.
But the next match would be Jade Cargill versus Naomi. Mentioned that earlier, that I thought Bianca was going to get involved at least some way, somehow.
Yeah. Whether it be at least like her entrance pops, she stands on stage.
Yeah. Or whether she decides one way or the other to go with or what. But like for her just to like not be present at all, that was a little surprising. I think it was the right move to put Jade over if there was no interference. Jade's a fucking beast, bro.
Yeah, her physique and her physicality in the ring, it's like Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Like AEW fucked up by letting her go.
100%.
Like she would have been she would have or could have been the biggest star, man or woman, in AEW. Like she could have been headlining every fucking all-out pay-per-view. Like she could have been it. And for them to be able to let her slip through, and I mean, who knows? Like I don't know if they offered her a contract or what, but I would have fucking threw the bank at this chick to keep her in my company. And maybe they did, and maybe she just wanted to go to WWE, but I would have did everything in my power to keep her in my company. But I mean, she looked like a beast. Naomi put on a good show as well. I don't really get the caution tape, trying to beat Owen Hart. I don't know.
I don't either. Just from Jade's perspective, like, just listen to the pop she got. Her draw is insane.
Yeah, and like you said, like her physique, man, is like like no other, man.
She's
like,
a legit.
She's a
borderline bodybuilder.
Yeah, and she's married to Brandon Phillips.
Is she really?
So there's that. Yeah. Yep.
Wow. The more you know.
Yeah. So it's gonna be interesting to see what happens next, because I would think Bianca would still be, in the middle of the two. Maybe on SmackDown we figure it out. and see where they go next. We got a new U.S. champion, man, Jacob Fatu.
He's that motherfucker right there. He
that dude's
will.
fucking crazy.
I loved the fact that they finally gave him some singles gold. His promos are even going to be more electric. What? It's funny because he just won it 2 days ago. Who's going to be the fucker that stops him?
Right. Yeah, 100%.
I could easily see this being not a Gunther Intercontinental reign, but like he's gonna hold it for a long time.
Yeah, I could see him holding it definitely through the next WWE calendar year until next WrestleMania or beyond. Over a year, especially with that title. The US title doesn't it doesn't seem like it has like the prestige of the other ones, like the former champions in the past minus John Cena with like the open challenge. Like we saw Dean Ambrose hold it for almost a year with 3 title defenses, and the other members of the Shield would like make fun of him for it, like, hey man, you ever gonna defend that title and shit like that. So I think it's probably the least prestigious title on the roster. But Jacob Fatu might be able to elevate that a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think LA Knight did a good job too, but I think LA Knight should be elevated into that main event picture. Jacob Fatu's, you mentioned his promos. I love his promos when they're backstage and like
walking through Gorilla and everything.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, it's awesome.
Just talking shit to the camera. Like he's gonna be a fucking superstar, man. No question about it. And I'm glad there was that cool ass BFT too. I think he did like a something off the top rope, and fucking LA Knight caught him.
Yeah.
That was a cool ass move when he was able to kick out. I'm surprised did Solo came out with him, but I don't think he stood ringside with him.
Yeah, it's always interesting, especially with with the bloodline per se, or whatever they are now, if they're still gonna go by it or whatever. But I think that, like you said, good match, good finish. That LA Knight move where he caught him, whenever, especially for moves like that, like we've seen Randy do it for years, where he'll catch somebody in the air. That is the choreography it takes to do that. And once again, it's not like you're just catching them. It's a whole move to where, I'm sure we'll get into it later, like the Cody Cutter stuff, where it's him where it's him, using the ropes, to elevate himself, and still it's a timing thing that's really, it takes a long time to, get, semi decent at.
Right, and even if it doesn't look perfect, like, you get the point. You get the point of what it, like, unless they completely botch it, which they didn't. Even if it's not the most effective BFT, it looks fucking sweet. Yeah. And you get the point. But yeah, I think Jacob Fatu is gonna as a singles champion, he's going to not only carry the US title for a while, but I think he is a future world champion as well. Dude, fucking, we found out that WrestleMania season is in fact the tiffiest time of the year. It is Tiffy time. Dude, did you see she got her fucking grill fucking wrecked?
When the camera panned to her in the middle of the match on, like the camera side, and I was like, oh my god, she chipped a tooth. She got her shit messed up. To dive into it before, I thought the match was awesome.
Yeah, so did I. I think I think they both showed out, and I'm so glad Charlotte Flair lost. Like, she was pushed so much down your throat, man. Like, it's like, okay, I get she's a good wrestler. I get she's got the lineage and the prestige and all this, but like, she's a fucking 14-time champion, man. You don't
need a 15th time to can
now.
I feel like whenever certain performers and stuff, when they get to that level, it's kind of like what John Cena was doing before this past couple months of like, okay, you're going to use these all-time great wrestlers to promote the other guys, the next ones.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It didn't make any sense having Charlotte win, and the fact that she lost, and Tiffy got like, even though once again you don't go out there and say, hey, knock my fucking teeth in, but the fact that she got like that, just the look. And it's like, holy shit, Tiffy got her, she got her shit kicked in, and she still came out on top.
Yeah, and like now you can give her a little bit more credit of being, a little tougher, than just like, that blonde bimbo or whatever. I mean, I'm just saying.
I get you, yeah.
But yeah, man, they both showed out. I'm glad Charlotte lost. It elevates Tiffany. Tiffany. This is her first WrestleMania, and to defeat Charlotte Flair. Now, like, you can build on that for WrestleManias to come, and or just in storyline in general.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Lastly,
I'm glad to see
quick.
her retain, especially with the first couple matches. The first 3 matches we had different champions. We had the title switch in. And WrestleMania is a great time to have a new champion, but like you don't have to have all your belts switch hands just because it's WrestleMania. Like I said, like you need to have shit happen on other nights to make it. Like I want at least one title change at Backlash. Like, Backlash always means fucking nothing. And,
right.
Literally, like, almost every year, it's like, okay, champion retains, champion retains, champion retains. Rematch from WrestleMania, champion retains.
Real quick, though, on something outside of the match, but to the Tiffy match, what do you think of their entrances? I thought the Barbie entrance, where she had, like, all 3 of them, I thought it was super dope. Yeah. I thought this shit was dope.
And, dude, fucking Pat McAfee is fucking hilarious, dude.
Which one was she?
Yeah, he's like, oh, yeah, he's like, I guess she was the middle one.
Like, no shit, she was the middle one, you dickhead. Like it would have been so funny if she would have been, the right one. Or the left one. Yeah. Like, because, for entrances and stuff like that, like, no shit, it's the middle one, you jackass.
Right. Or have all 3 of them still there and like have like a weird platform come behind it and then her on top, or something. But was it Charlotte came out in what, the Rolls Royce? Or the Maserati? Someone came out in the Maserati and someone came out in a Rolls Royce.
I think LA Knight came out in the Maserati, I think.
Yeah, you're right.
And then Charlotte came out in the Rolls Royce. I always thought her. Oh, continue. Yeah.
I like both of the entrances with the cars. What I was, like, they kind of dumbed down the entrances from years ago. Like, when Rusev was coming out on a tank and, Triple H and his fucking shit. Like,
right.
They really kind of dumbed the entrances down and, like, just made them more, like, sometimes you'll get the live bands and shit, but, like, I'm surprised they don't have more special entrances.
Yeah.
And maybe it has to do with, like, being in, like, football stadiums. I'm not sure. Like, I don't know. But, but they were in football stadiums before and they did that. So I guess that doesn't really make any sense. But anyway, I would like to see more grand entrances.
Yeah.
Like the New Day coming out of the Booty-O box and shit like that.
That shit was so goofy.
But yeah, man. So the main event, night 1, you got the triple threat match. We should have had Paul Hogan on a forklift match.
Before you get into it, you missed one.
I missed one?
Yeah.
What'd I miss?
Chad Gable's match. Oh, my bad. I mean,
Oh.
Yeah.
It's actually not even on here.
Wow.
And this is WWE's site. I went to WWE full results.
Wow.
That's my fuck up.
Wow.
I messed up. That was actually after the Jacob Fatu match before the Tiffany.
He doesn't care. He doesn't care.
Well, hey man.
I feel
El Grande Americano.
Before you dive into it, I felt like there would have been more mask stuff if it would have been Ray in the match.
Oh yeah.
Like they would have messed with
Mysterio, you mean, not Ray Phoenix.
Yeah.
Two different Rays.
Yeah.
2 different Rays.
2 different Rays. They're both in matches. They might as well be wearing the same clothes.
2 different rays of different sunshine.
There you go.
But yeah, I think Mysterio. If Mysterio, I think they kind of did a 180 with Mysterio's injury on Friday. I think if Mysterio would have been in the match, I think we would have seen the reveal of who is El Grande Americano. But
also known as Chad Gable.
El Grande. No, El Grande Americano.
Yeah,
We don't know if
it was
he's
also.
Gable.
Yeah, okay, buddy.
We don't know.
You-
All we know is El Grande Americano is one of the greatest luchadors in the world today.
It's kind of like how him and Chad Gable have never been seen in the same room together, right?
They have. They have.
Well, once again, you're more
They were
tapped in than
interviewing
me.
Chad Gable, and Americano was like 50 feet away, and they showed him like getting escorted out of the building. Um,
Wow.
but But yeah, for against Ray Phoenix, I like the match. They both guys can wrestle. Grande Americano proved, he belongs in the WWE, and he's one of the best luchadors in the world. His fucking entrance with the mariachi band
That
and
shit
like
was so with
the yellow tint on the
that
screen
shit was hilarious.
was fucking awesome.
That shit was
But
so
yeah,
funny.
it's not Chad Gable. I think we kind of proved that. It's kind of a shame that Chad Gable didn't have a match at Mania. I mean, he was involved with the Andre the Giant Battle Royal on Friday, which they
Yeah.
just need to get rid of that whole event. But um, anyway, I mean, dude, I'm telling you, Americano might be a future champion in WWE.
That's the thing about wrestling. It's like eventually all the shit's gonna come out. Everything's gonna come out
Well,
as
what
to
do you
who
mean?
it is. No,
It's not Chad Gable, dude.
okay.
I'm telling you, it's
Well,
not Chad Gable.
and I'll believe when the mask is off.
Dude, I don't know what else proof you need. Like Chad Gable talk like even they showed his promo. It was all in Spanish. Like, he's a luchador,
Hey, I
and
get
he's
it.
one of the greatest in the world. I mean,
He won his
that
WrestleMania
loaded five
debut.
head, that loaded five head's a great move, and he hasn't been caught yet. I mean, that's what heels do. That's what heel luchadors do.
I get it. I thought once again, great match. Now let's get on to the
All right, the main
real
event.
yeah.
So we got we had Seth Rollins, CM Punk, and Roman Reigns. Paul Heyman started in the corner of CM Punk. They had Living Color do CM Punk's entrance live, which was cool.
Hold on before we get into the match.
Yeah.
That 2-minute promo they did was fucking awesome. For Punk, from the montage of his career to playing his old entrance song, "This Fire Burns," was awesome. I saw TikToks of the whole crowd singing his old entrance when they were when they were showing the promo on the jumbotron. I thought he finally brought back the yellow boots and the stars. I thought the whole everything pre-match was awesome, and the match lived up to it.
I agree. The only thing that didn't live up to it was Roman Reigns' white shoes, his white Jordans. He should have been wearing the red. The white just looked a little weird.
Well,
But,
the white was probably to pop because it's too much dark on dark, black on black, all that jazz.
Yeah. So, but yeah, man, the way they did it, I called it, man. I called it weeks ago before they even started teasing it. I'm like, why is Seth Rollins in this match? Or what? Not is why Seth Rollins is in this match. Seth Rollins is the only one that should be in this match. It should have been either Seth Rollins versus CM Punk or Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
It shouldn't have been a triple threat match. It made no sense to make a triple threat match. These guys just went to war games together, and now they're like, oh, fuck you, like I'm gonna fight you. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. So, that was the only logical winner. That was the only logical person that Paul Heyman would leave with. The way they did it, as far as like first, Paul turning on Punk was awesome. Then him handing the chair to Roman, and then fucking turning on Roman was awesome. And then leaving with Seth, ultimately getting the handshake at the end. But did you see Punk's face when after he got pinned, when he was laying there? He was a big ass smile on his face just to be able to headline or main event WrestleMania.
Yeah, it's even more funny too because this is not the first time that Paul switched up on Punk.
Yeah. Because was the first time with Lesnar?
No, the first time was it was with Curtis Axel in 2013 at Money in the Bank. Because remember, Punk was about to win it, and then Paul hit him with the ladder, and then that set up like the Curtis Axel, and then the Best versus the Beast, and then Ryback became a Paul Heyman guy for a little bit.
Yeah. That was like a weird stretch of
just funky stuff. Yeah.
But yeah, man, I loved it. It ended night one great. Paul was amazing. I'm curious on where they're gonna go with this. But I think they also did it because CM Punk and Roman aren't there every week, so this allows Heyman to be on the show every week with Seth Rollins. It'll elevate that storyline. Now, what does the Tribal Chief do without his wise man? Where's that going?
He's all alone.
Yeah, and so if you don't have a tribe to be a chief of, you may no longer be a tribal chief.
Right.
I think that's how.
I don't know.
My tribe doesn't have a tribal chief. We're all equals.
I think it's one of those. If you know, you know, or if you're in the know, and I guess we're not in the know, man.
Yeah, I mean, and then like I said, Punk got his main event. The ending was cool too. Like I said, like the passing of the chair. I
thought the power bombs through both announce tables was awesome because it was Seth. Yeah. Seth was trying to Roman. It's he's bad for us, and then Roman turned mid match and then power bomb through both. I thought it was awesome.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's a little early. Like I can't think of specific spots, so I'm glad that you're bringing that shit up because.
And one super last thing before we get on to day 2, how many times is Rollins gonna hit Reigns with a chair?
Because this is what, like 3, 4.
It's like like third or fourth time. It's like.
Don't turn your back, bro.
Legend has it. It's the same chair.
Yeah. I mean, that'd be a quite legend.
Yeah, that'd be crazy.
It's like Shawn Michaels when he did the Sweet Chin Music, man. Like, you hear the stomping on the ground. Why would you turn around?
I'm not gonna stand up.
I'm like if I'm like groggy, I'm like, okay, I hear something.
Let me go see what it is. Yeah.
I'm just gonna go this way. I'm not gonna see what it is. It's like if you you're home alone and you hear something in the attic. You're not gonna fucking go check to see what it is.
It's up there and I'm down here.
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna go to Wendy's and get a Frosty.
Right.
See you later.
I'll see you. Right. That's funny. But yeah, let's jump straight in. Let's jump straight into night 2.
Into night 2. Night 2 started off with the women's championship match with Io Sky, Bianca, and Rhea Ripley. This was a phenomenal match. I'm not gonna lie. This is one of the best matches of the weekend. The finish was absolutely perfect.
From Rhea getting hair whipped, finished, and then Io Sky doing, what does she call it? What's
perfectly timed. The over the sky or
over the moon moonsault.
Something
over
like
the moonsault or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
The whole
because I know 50s is the prettiest moonsault ever.
Yeah. From her moonsault to break it up, and then that to be the instant cover, and it still kind of protects Rhea a little bit because she didn't get pinned.
Yeah, 100%, man. And I thought Rhea was gonna win. But when you think about it, because I thought Rhea was gonna get her title back, but when you think about it, why would they give Io Sky the title
for her to lose it 3 weeks later?
Lose it?
Yeah.
Right. So it made sense for Io to win. I just don't. We were talking about this last night, and I don't want to seem any kind of way, but the Asian wrestlers and the Mexican wrestlers do not, in my eyes, they don't get over because they don't cut good promos. Like wrestling, I would say 70% of wrestling is talking and storyline. So
yeah,
you maybe have that 30% great in the ring, which she does, but like when you can't, resonate with the crowd, and get the crowd behind you behind promos and things like that, it's kind of like a thud. Like you're like, okay, well, I guess I'll see you in the ring. But
how many wrestlers have we seen over the years that have been fantastic in the ring, but they can't cut a promo?
Right.
Roman was like that for a long time.
Right. Or, the opposite. Like, if like Ultimate Warrior, he was fucking terrible in the ring. Hogan, terrible in the ring. Like Hogan would just get his ass kicked until he did his 5 move or his punch, 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 big boot, leg drop. Like that was it, dude.
The perfect mix of both was Cena, because he was awesome in the even prior it was he could kill you on the mic, and then he had the legendary 5 moves of doom.
Right.
Yeah. But
still, even last night, man, like, we'll get into it later, but he didn't do any of the 5 moves of doom. It was awesome.
He did them and then just stopped mid-match.
Yeah.
Yeah, but once again, we'll jump into it later. Yeah.
But so going forward, we have Bianca still on SmackDown. Like I said, we kind of talked about her earlier about possibly getting back into the middle of Jade and Naomi. That still has to be settled somehow. She's still got to settle with one or the other, unless she's gonna just play this middleman, like my friend over here doesn't like my friend over here, but
I'm gonna play both sides.
Whatever. It's gonna be interesting in where they go with Rhea. Forward. I'm guessing she's probably still gonna feud with Io Sky. I mean, you can't. I just don't see Rhea not being in the main event picture on the women's side.
100%.
So, but who's gonna be the next challenger for Io? Is it gonna just be Rhea again? Are they gonna continue that storyline, or is Io gonna find someone else? Is Asuka coming back soon? That could be
that'd be pretty cool.
Feud with Io. And I didn't even know Damage Control was still a thing. They announced Io as representing Damage Control last night, and I don't remember the last time those 3 have been together. I don't even know who's in Damage Control anymore. I know Dakota Kai was in it, and who was the other one? Kairi Sane, but where the hell they been?
Right.
Like, so is there really a Damage Control? Are they really controlling all the damage? I don't know. It seems like a lot of damage has been done without them.
Right. To go into the next match with the Sin City Street fight, you brought up the Clash of Clans partnership influencing the entrance. I thought Drew McIntyre coming out as Doom for their Doom partnership, I thought this shit was sick.
Yeah, I do too. I am not a Doom player, but one of my buddies that I was with, shout out to Sam WO, he said this game's gonna be fucking amazing.
Yeah, the Doom is literally just not hack and slash, but just you damn near have a bottomless clip. Just go blood and gore everything. Just go. Just you're damn near Master Chief. Just go in and fuck everything up.
Right, and this match had some pretty good spots. I do like the reversal of the old school. We kind of called it. I mean, you've seen the 2 fucking tables sitting out there. But bisexual Undertaker couldn't get it done. I mean, I think you have to be heterosexual Undertaker to be able to get that old school move down by walking the top rope. But I thought it was a good match overall. I'm pissed that they didn't do more with it. I think they should have, instead of Sin City Street Fight, I think they should have had a Sin City Falls Count Anywhere match.
That they could have done so much more with that outside the ring. They could have went in the back. They could have cut stuff from the other day and shot stuff at a casino.
Right.
All kinds of jazz.
Dude, like, I get it takes the crowd out of it, but at the same time, we're not watching the crowd. So if you want to put on like a fucking Travis Scott mini concert while that match is going on, do that. Like, entertain the crowd somehow that's not on TV, and then maybe they have fucking screens everywhere. Put the fucking match on a screen for them. Give them a little mini concert. Have them go through a casino. Have them fucking suplex them on a fucking blackjack table. Have Wayne Newton come. Have a couple showgirls, some frozen drinks thrown. You know, have Uncle Eddie at the buffet getting some of the yella. You know, we could have got all this stuff. I did like how they had the little montage of like the movies with Vegas in it. You know, but they could have done so much more with this.
I thought the
because
finish with the Claymore into the chair was pretty cool.
that was cool. That I will admit that was a great finish. As soon as he hit that, I'm like, okay, it's over.
Yeah,
You know,
night, yeah.
You know, as soon as like Damien put his fucking head there, I was like, well, this is gonna end bad for
this
him.
This is CT Central.
Right. And McIntyre, you know, I'm not a fan of either, but McIntyre deserved to win that match. Like he's been losing too many of these big matches, you know, against Punk, against Rollins. You know, he lost last year's title. You know, to Damien, he's kind of getting his little revenge. I'm just glad he doesn't fucking come out with a sword anymore, dude. That was the dumbest shit ever.
What was wrong with the sword?
You're not gonna cut the motherfucker's head off, dude. Like everyone knows this. Like you know, right. You might swing the sword. Like everyone knows, like it's a show. Like you're not gonna fucking stab someone or decapitate someone or you know, I'm gonna cut your arm off or whatever, dude. The only cool thing he ever did was cut the ropes with it, and that was even unnecessary. Like
it's kind of like when do you remember when Brock took on Dean Ambrose and Dean had the chainsaw?
Yeah, I mean, like, what are you at a fucking haunted house, dude? Like, what is going on here? Right. It's absolutely fucking ridiculous. But yeah, man, I was hoping for more of what they call Gaga in this match, and just like crazy shit. As far as like just being more. I liked how it was physical. I wanted a combination of physical and a little bit of humor. Yeah, show. You know, get us some, you know,
some giant jumbo shrimp and beat each other with them, or you know, just something goofy.
You know, have a giant roulette fucking wheel and put him on there and spin him around. Do something. You know, fucking hit his head into a fucking slot machine and you see cherry. You know, something, dude. Like they could have did so much shit. But in general, I mean, it was a good match. I just wish they would have done more since it was a quote unquote street fight. And like, you know, I don't like how these street fights have to end in the ring. Like, you should be able to fucking be able to pin them anywhere.
Yeah, it really utilizes the term, you know, street fight, you know, because, you know, street fights end in the street.
Right.
Right, I get you.
I mean, you know, the ring, you know, I don't go out on my street and see a squared circle out there.
No.
So,
I see a sidewalk. I mean, it would be cool.
Right. But I see a court.
I see a court. Stupid. Next match.
That fatal 4-way match, dude.
Oh, that fatal 4-way was sick.
Dude, when fucking Dom like was trying to hit the 619 on Finn and everyone realized what he was doing.
Yeah.
Dude, he got a fucking huge pop, man.
Dude, I saw something on Twitter. It was, or X, whatever term you want to use. It was that the X that hating Dom wasn't like no one hated him. They just loved him because he was a bad dude. And that when after he won, when he ran back to the ring, they said, I don't know if that wasn't scripted, but he just felt it because, you know, bro got a giant pop.
Right. And dude, like,
yeah.
So like we were talking about that too when he ran back. Like, dude, it's fucking WrestleMania. Like, they're not set. I guess they are, but they aren't. But you're not technically set to a time limit. Like, you know, if you want to take another fucking couple minutes, like, whatever, dude. Like, you know, live the moment.
The worst thing that'll happen when you're having a show at one of those giant things, is you'll get fined for going over. You get fined for going over.
Yeah.
Which it's WWE/TKO/UFC, whatever. It's not like they're loose for change.
Right. Yeah, 100%.
You can cut the $250,000 check if you go an hour over.
Right. Well, dude, I just found out that yesterday that if you go over the Niagara Falls in a barrel, you can get fined $25,000. There's no jail time. There's nothing.
Well,
so
I have another.
What if I had a GoFundMe and raised like more than $25,000.
Could we get the Kaboose going over the Niagara Falls in a barrel?
I mean, I in a padded barrel, I would.
Hold on, now I'm curious. How did this get into conversation?
Because you said there it's
No, how did you find out yesterday that going over Niagara Falls in a barrel is a fine?
Well, I think we were watching we were watching the Goonies and we were watching Indiana Jones. So I think it came up in one of those two movies. Something happened.
Something happened with a barrel, and then somehow the Niagara Falls got into it.
Not necessarily a barrel, but we like we went down a rabbit hole of conversation and somehow got to that.
That's
and
funny.
We looked up like how many survivors have been, people that went over Niagara Falls and whatever, and but yeah, it's only a $25,000 fine. Like,
wow. The more you know.
It just reminded me of that because you said the TKO and WWE had enough money, but
that's funny.
For no jail time going over the Niagara Falls in a barrel
makes sense to me.
Yeah, you can get people to fucking send you money to fucking do that shit,
That's great.
Anyway,
but to go back to the Fatal 4-Way the match, Dom winning was great. All the power Braun Breaker's a fucking nut. All his high flying. I say high flying. He's not doing suicide dives, but that fucker runs and jumps so damn high and so explosive. He's awesome. I thought Penta was great. Finn's spots were okay because Finn makes everybody look good.
Dude, Carlito was fucking hilarious.
That shit was awesome.
Carlito taking the fucking spear through
off the table through an off one announce table through the other was awesome. The second,
did you notice? We noticed this last night. Did you notice that? Not only did Wade Barrett and McAfee switch spots as far as who was sitting on the right and left of
they rebuilt the table.
No. They switched the positions of the Spanish announce table and the other announce table.
I noticed that later on in the show when they pan back to them and they're on a fixed announce table. Like I guess they brought in obviously you don't bring in another prop one, but all your cables are just bundled up underneath, so I'm sure it's a quick assemble.
Right.
So I noticed it and I was like, wow, because for the majority of my life that's how it was. It was right to left. But that's an interesting thing to and once again,
I wonder what the thought process like.
That's what I was about to say.
Wade and Pat could have just been like, okay,
interchangeable,
or they could have just been like, all right, like just whoever sat down first or whatever.
They're drawing straws for who sits where.
Yeah. But Dominic, man, you can't tell me that he's not Eddie's kid. He looks just like the motherfucker. And even though Ray won custody on him, on a ladder
that don't mean
match,
nothing. That don't mean nothing.
I think his real dad is resting in power right now. Because he looks just like him. I mean,
that's funny.
But he deserves the Intercontinental title, man. I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens tonight if he gets booed or if he gets a huge pop.
If he comes out with, like we mentioned, title on one arm, live on the other, I bet the pop is going to be fucking insane.
And I wonder if he does get a pop. Because my whole thing was Finn Balor's not going to be in the Judgment Day anymore.
Right.
What if he gets a huge pop? They kick Dominic out of the Judgment Day.
Ooh.
Because what if they're like, oh, you're too big for us now, or some shit.
That could be something that happens over the next month. Like Dom just starts flaunting, like it's like those old Airhead commercials. You eat an Airhead. Head blows up, where he starts making comments like, "Oh, I'm just better than everybody else here," and they're like, 100%. Okay, well, kick rocks.
Yeah, that's a great analogy. But yeah, my buddy and I we do little gentlemen's bets, per match, $1 per match.
Mm-hmm.
So whoever gets the first, obviously like the first match of the night started at night 1, right? So we picked the number, closest number, to picking that number, got to go first, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you get to pick your guy. The next match, so if the
Someone else
first
gets
match
to
you got the
pick
first pick,
first.
then I get the first pick, the second match, and so on and so
Alternate
forth.
that way, yeah.
So I had the first pick in this match, and my first pick was Dominic. I was like, Dominic's winning this thing. If not, so then he ended up picking Finn Balor, which was interesting because I think it could have went either way with them two, because there's where the rival is, or the story. So the second person I picked, so the for the Fatal 4-Way, we each picked two guys so we wouldn't have a scenario where the triple threat match where there's somebody that's not picked, and if someone's not picked, just no dollars move, right?
Right.
So the second pick, I picked Braun Breaker because I'm like, all right, it's either gonna be Dominic or he's retaining. So he ended up getting Penta, but yeah, I was right on the Dominic Mysterio. And I thought that was kind of an easy pick because, I mean,
if
it's
there's
his
a
first
time, if there's a
title.
Right, and if there's a time, it was great because you can still protect your over guys like your Penta and your Braun Breaker. You can still protect them with him not being involved in the finish.
Yep, and he got the pin on Finn, right? Too.
I think so.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he got the pin on Finn, and then Finn sat there. I'm surprised. What I was wondering if they were gonna do was like if Dominic was gonna like be like, "Yeah, man, I won," like dab him and shit, and Finn
Celebrate
Balor
with
being,
me.
yeah, be like, "What the fuck?" But he celebrated alone, dude. So,
we'll see what happens
but that
tonight.
overall, it was a great match. I don't think, I don't think you could have picked like four guys in the Intercontinental title picture to put on a better match than
it was
that.
great.
All we were missing was like a ladder. But
we had a table.
The your boy.
This
Randy
was awesome,
dude. This like. So we were trying to figure out who was gonna be. We thought Nick Aldis.
When he came out and was like, "This is my WrestleMania 20. Whoever wants it, come get it." The second the doors open and it was a motherfucker turned backwards, I said, "Oh fuck! I know exactly whose dumbass face is gonna turn around."
Say his name, and he appears.
I'm so happy that they do like the little TNA crossovers every now and again.
So we were, like I said, we were trying to figure out who's gonna be the mystery opponent, right? Is it gonna be Nick Aldis? Is it gonna be like a Rusev? Is it gonna be
real quick? Someone said everyone was speculating it was a Rusev, and it was his lawyer, because back in the day when they had like the divorce lawyer or whatever it was.
Yeah, that shit would have been fucking funny, dude. Yeah. With the storyline with Lashley, right?
Yeah, that shit was funny because apparently the dude who's Joe Hendry had some runs with WWE, like either backstage guys or just other like smaller roles like that. But right. Apparently he was the lawyer for that little storyline.
Gotcha. Well, I had mentioned to my buddies, I was like, who's just out of curiosity, who's the TNA champion? Because I know they had the crossover, and they're like, well, Joe Hendry, but he's hurt, and I'm like, oh, okay, because I was like, maybe it could be him, and then fucking no shit, dude, it's fucking him, and fucking Orton being fucking Orton, doing the fucking thing and fucking turning around
doing
with
the Joe Hendry shit. Oh, bro, the fucking
awesome.
My favorite part about this match, like every time Joe Hendry would hit like a big move, Orton would be like, "Dude, are you fucking for real?" And then after he belly to bellied him or did some kind of power slam, it was the legit RKO out of nowhere because his eyes didn't move. Yeah. And it was just a genuine surprise because, even when you watch from home, the camera zoomed in on him and he's just looking, right. And then you just see Randy come out of nowhere. And yeah, I thought it was in perfect Randy fashion, doing all four sides, going to walk away and still RKO'ing him, and then doing the Hendry shit was so funny.
Yeah. Joe Hendry, his facial expressions fucking are hilarious, man. Like, I don't watch much of him. Like I don't watch much of TNA. I've seen stuff online, but that shit was fucking hilarious.
Oh, it was
I don't
awesome.
think they could. Like we were kind of wanting Nick Aldis, but like I think they did way better with Joe Henry. Like
Yeah.
that shit was like because it does. Every match doesn't have to be serious, and they made it into a serious moment. A serious match a little bit. We all thought that he was gonna handshake Joe Henry at the beginning and then just RKO and it'd be over.
Like a
But
4-second squash match.
Yeah, it was surprisingly like a little 5-minute match, and it was entertaining, and the crowd loved it. And
it served its purpose for the spot, the opponent,
100%.
the pop, and the crowd.
Yeah, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
And this show's gonna run a little long, and that's fine. We still got 3 more matches to talk about. But Logan Paul versus AJ Styles.
I thought real quick once again before we dive in, and I'm sorry to interrupt. I thought Logan's entrance was fucking dope from a perspective, sitting from home, and how they went to all 6 angles, all 9 angles, however camera which one it was. I thought it was pretty dope how he came out with the drone and then just tossed it up, and then when he got in the ring, it landed back in his hand. I thought that was dope. I thought the match was awesome. I was so surprised that they put Logan over.
I was too, man. I was about to say that too. I was surprised he got over, but dude, that pulverizer is a fucking awesome ass move.
Oh,
dude.
I remember when he first.
How many people he's gonna be able to do it to, but
that's the only when it first, because once again I watch wrestling every now and again. We're definitely watching tonight. It was like Logan Paul's new finisher, the pulverizer. It came out like, I don't know, 2 months ago or something, however long ago it was. Yeah. When I first watched the clip of it, I was like, that's really good. The only problem is to have a perfect finisher, I guess there's none that are perfect, but you got to do it on almost anybody. So I don't know if you can put Logan against, like a 300-pound dude and get him to do that. But maybe that's when the brass knucks come in.
Yeah, I was gonna say the brass knucks or the frog splash. Like he's got a couple moves, or like like the buckshot lariat. He can do that. What did you think about Karrion Kross? And I don't know who that other dude was that was trying to get the knucks to.
Yeah, some random goober.
Yeah, it was like one of fucking Logan Paul's dudes.
Yeah.
But what did you think about like the whole Karrion Kross angle?
The whole angle to me, it was kind of not spotty, because once again I haven't been as tuned in as you, but I was like, why is he trying to make AJ do the dirty shit with the brass knucks, and then that ended up costing him kinda. I don't know what his angle was. Did they used to be in like a faction or something?
I don't think they've ever been in a faction unless it was like not in WWE. Maybe if it was if they were. I don't know if Karrion Kross was ever in Japan and Bullet Club or any of that. But I just don't pay attention to that. I watch enough wrestling. I don't need to
overstimulate yourself.
I don't need to be one of those internet goobers that watch every fucking thing. I have a life, like I enjoy wrestling, but I have a fucking life.
Right.
But so Karrion Kross has been trying to he's been approaching different superstars, trying to show them like the truth, and stuff. But no one's really taking him up on it. I mean, he had the Authors of Pain with him for a little bit, but they got recently released. I think they need to do something with this dude. Like he can talk, he can wrestle.
I'm curious about what if, and we're gonna get into his match later. What if they pair him and Cena? Cause Cena's doing the I'm just gonna do it how I'm doing it now. I'm not doing it the good guy way, and cause Kross is kind of saying, oh, do it this way.
Right.
That'd be an interesting angle.
That's pretty interesting too. And the thing is, like I don't mind Karrion Kross coming out. Like I said, I am a fan of Karrion Kross. AJ should have joined him.
That would have been the and then you could have had heel AJ, because it makes no sense to have him come back. He came back when the Rumble. You bring him back at the Rumble, and then your 2-month build up, and then for him to lose. So now what is there for AJ now?
Right. And now is he gonna feud with Karrion Kross? Maybe.
That would be the most feasible way, 1-to-1 way, or
right.
it could be them two teaming up. Like, oh, I should have done that.
Yeah, and yeah, if they spun it that way, that would be kind of cool. But I think AJ should have joined him, because at that point, like, what was the purpose of that? Just to have some outside interference?
I
Because
guess
he essentially helped AJ, and then AJ decked him. Like,
yeah,
okay, just weird. But I hope they do something with Karrion Kross, and I hope that he can be like a cult leader, like a Charles Manson, like fucking like you have a bunch of followers and just become this big fucking group. I like big factions. I know they're not everyone's favorite, but like I like the NWO. I mean, the NWO got kind of out of control at points, but like I always liked like the Ministry of Darkness when Undertaker had 7 guys.
Yeah, 6-7 deep. Yeah.
The Aces and Eights in TNA back in the day.
Yeah.
That was cool.
That'd be pretty dope.
I just like factions, man. I don't like how AEW has like 53-man, 4-man factions.
Yeah.
I get like in real life you have groups of friends and shit.
Yeah.
And you can kind of play off that, but like too many, is just, it gets confusing.
Yeah, just combine a couple, so you still have your roster pool.
Yeah, 100%. The women's tag team match between Liv and Raquel, and then Lyra Valkyria, and her mystery partner ended up being Becky Lynch.
Her pop was awesome because she's the man.
I can't stand Becky Lynch, man. Like,
is it like a Charlotte Flair thing?
Where it's sort of, but I think Becky Lynch, I think she was hot for 2 months after Nia Jax like busted her open, and she became the man. Now I don't like her promos. Like, her promo, like, I think she starts like something like, "Oh, the man is now in your city," or some fucking stupid shit, and I'm like, no one cares. I don't know. I know she got a big pop. I was hoping, like, my buddies were like, "Oh, it's Becky Lynch," before it was Becky Lynch. I was like, I hope it's anyone but Becky Lynch. I was okay with her not being around. I don't know. I'm not. And like I said, like, when I say this type of shit, like, it's not like I don't like the people personally. I don't fucking know them. I just don't like their character. I don't. Yeah. I just.
Everyone's got their favorites, and I get it. Yeah, it's something too about wrestling. It's like to test if spaghetti's done. You take one, throw it against the wall, see if it sticks. Something just doesn't stick.
Right. So I mean, to me, and then and to I was surprised that they actually won, because I'm surprised they gave like, Lyra's got 2 belts now. She's got the Intercontinental, which I don't know when the last time she defended it, or if she's defended it at all, or if I just don't pay attention when that shit happens. But like, these women's Chelsea Green's doing a very good job with the U.S. title. Lyra, again, I don't know if it's just I'm not paying attention when she's on, but like, have you been seeing her like defend the Intercontinental title? Am I wrong on this?
Not that I can, not off the top that I can remember.
So, and for some reason the belt looks super small. Like, I know women's titles are smaller because obviously they're smaller, but the Intercontinental, like the face of the just looks
narrower. Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, I don't really care about this match. If you have anything to add,
pass. Next question.
Pass. All right. And then we get to the big shit. Well, first Stone Cold comes out. Fucking, I think he was lit, and
I asked you when we were pre-showing. A clip came out of him missing the initial turn to go up the ramp and passing it, and then having to go in reverse and back up, and then go up the ramp again. And it's so funny because when he was backing up, they had like 9 dudes from the staff, come back and actually pull the big ass ATV to line it up. But
it was funny when he was going around the ring and the fucking lady fell or whatever. Fucking dramatics.
If I'm that lady, I'm gonna turn into the green shirt dude. I'm everywhere. I'm main eventing WrestleMania next year. I'm gonna be on the board of directors. I'm on the creative team. Like what? What?
WWE's gonna be like, go fuck yourself, dude. Like he hit a fucking barrier.
I saw Nick Khan went over there to check on her.
Nick Khan went over there, and but I liked how he just left it there.
It was so funny because when he left the ring, he left on the side that he entered. ATV was gone.
Yeah, yeah, that was funny, man. He got a huge pop. I was expecting him to get involved in the main event, but I'm glad he was there.
Earlier on in the day, so you brought up the match, so I should jump into it with Cena winning at 17.
Yeah.
When you said that you expected him to get involved in the main event, Rock posted on his Instagram, because I saw on Twitter, it might have been WrestleOps or somebody, said that Rock is reportedly in Hawaii, won't be at, and me and I was talking to my boys, I was like, my ass, he's in Hawaii, he's gonna come out, and there's gonna be a spot, but hey, bro's in Hawaii.
But yeah, I guess, yeah, and that to me, that's kind of fucked up that he wasn't involved. I'm glad Cena won his 17th. Just like Becky Lynch, man. I'm not a fan of Cody Rhodes either. It's not like if I met Cody Rhodes, I'd be like, dude, go fuck yourself. I would be like, hey man, it's nice to meet you. Like, you're not one of my favorite wrestlers, like, but
I respect what you're doing, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you don't have to like everyone's work, but you can appreciate and respect them as a person. I just, I don't know what the hype behind Cody is. He was always like a mid-card guy, and then when he left and went to AEW and created AEW or whatever, he wasn't even like their main guy. Like, I don't get how he gets elevated to like such a over superstar. It just doesn't resonate with me, but I'm glad Cena got his 17th. I think everyone kind of knew he was going to win. He made the ultimate, WrestleMania moment of breaking Ric Flair's record. The match itself was kind of weak.
I thought it was... Before I say this, I back you that it was weak. I thought he really went into the heel character. There was no Titantron video. It was all blacked out. I thought the match, every chance, because you used to see this with when it was him and Orton beefing, when any small time to grab the ropes, to him say get off me, every time he'd go to the ground he'd roll out to kind of just delay it or get a 90-second intermission kind of. From the eye pokes to when he was doing, like his 5 moves of doing the 2 shoulder tackles, like he would shoulder tackle and then just sit there and slowly wait. Like it was he did everything that the old Cena did, just toned down and slowed.
Yeah, he didn't do the 5-knuckle shuffle at all, did he?
Yeah, he did. He did. Instead of doing it to Cody, he did it to the crowd. And the first time he tried to do it, I kind of knew that Cody was going to either kick him in the face or something.
Oh yeah,
because
he went and bet down, right, and he kicked him in the head.
Yeah, he I knew something was going to happen because it wasn't camera side, like it was like the back was to it, and I was like, okay, so Cody's going to either kick or eye poke or something. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I agree with you on all of that, because I do like the heel Cena. But I just wish there was more. Like
right. I thought the finish was so just bland.
Yeah, and before we even get to the finish, Cena's talking way too much. I don't know if he was calling spots.
I noticed that too. I saw there were sometimes he was talking shit and stuff like that, but then there were times where you're where they go from turnbuckle to opposite turnbuckle, where I can see it.
Yeah, 100%. And like if you make it loud enough to be like so people know that you're talking shit and not calling spots. That's one thing, but like it just seemed like he was like
calling spots.
blatant. Yeah, and I'm like, dude, like, what are you doing? Anyway, the finish, with Travis Scott coming out, like again, I'm a little confused. I don't know. They never really explained why Travis Scott is there.
Is a rock goonie. Like I don't get
Yeah,
it either. Like it would
and
be
it's like
go on.
it was like when fucking Jon Stewart came out and cost him the fucking match at SummerSlam. Like,
Yeah.
and then he explains like, "Oh, I'm a Ric Flair fan." Like, what?
It
What?
it's the thing where like yes, Travis Scott's a big draw. He doesn't. Once again, it would be different if it was like another wrestler or something to where like not saying Travis Scott doesn't have a place here because you see what they're doing with the ads and the partnership and the celebrities that are there.
Yeah.
They're leaning more into kind of to me it really reminded me of when like Stone Cold beat Shawn Michaels and it was Mike Tyson was there. Like Mike Tyson was just another giant draw and Mike Tyson
Right.
with the sucker punch the 1 2 3.
Yeah.
To me, Travis Scott, it was just an out of place thing for me.
Yeah, and two, like, when the referee goes down, I thought Travis Scott was gonna come out. He gets the, crossroads or whatever, and then I thought, the ref was gonna stay down and have, The Rock was gonna come out, but two, like, it's weird to me that, Travis Scott's music hit. Like, I get it, I get it's not real. I'm not fucking stupid. But if you're coming down to interfere in a match, do you really want your fucking music to hit
Do you need an intro?
and the referee to hear that?
Yeah. Do you need an
And
entrance? Yeah.
so,
It was just kind of
but
weird.
um, I was saying, man, imagine this, and this is what I brought up, sort of in the middle of the match. Well, actually, when Travis Scott was hitting, because we all knew someone was coming out, whether it was Travis Scott and The Rock, Travis Scott, The Rock, somebody else, a third man, whatever. What if, and I would have actually, again, I'm not a Cody guy, but what if they came out and Cody did the ultimate swerve and at Elimination Chamber, it was just his like beat in initiation and he actually did sell his soul to The Rock and he beat Cena by joining.
That would have been that would have been really cool, but it would have for me built into with the Cena. You tease him at Royal Rumble, loses, he sells out, and then he's gonna lose anyways.
Yeah, but to me, like if that would have set up like, okay, we saw a little bit of heel Cena. Cena's got to now retract and be like, okay, I kind of fucked up,
Yeah.
And then maybe at SummerSlam or even in his last match, because I think he's signed till December. Maybe his last match, he does win the title and just takes it home. And then they're like, okay, well, what do we do? Then they make the Royal Rumble next year for the title or whatever. But I think that would have been a kind of a cool swerve. But yeah, overall, like I was hoping for more of a finish like last year with all the run-ins with Roman and
the Avengers.
Right.
Right.
But I get you can't do the same shit twice, 2 years in a row type thing. But it was just weird to me that Travis Scott was the only one that came out. And again, there's not really an explanation on why he's with The Rock. But at the same time, too, we're all talking about this third man in this faction that's supposed to be happening. Is it really going to be something great? Because Cena's not there every week. Obviously, The Rock's not there. He's there maybe once a month now, maybe once every 2 months now. Probably less than that. And then you have like Travis Scott, who like we still don't know his role.
He keeps coming out with the hardcore championship.
If we have a third guy, does it really matter? Because if that third guy is a regular wrestler that is there every week, he's alone every week. Unless they're planning on making a huge thing out of this.
I don't think. Yeah, with there being a third guy, it really makes little to no sense as to it being like somebody who's there damn near every week. Because yeah, it's not really a faction per se. It's just kind of they're just teamed up.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So
I thought too. What do you think on the finish? Just being like a title belt hit. Now I get it. He took like 5 AAs before.
I actually like that. I am when I was growing up watching wrestling, like if someone took the title and fucking hit somebody, they were out.
Yeah.
Same with like a chair shot.
Mm.
Like, well, they used to do the chair shots to the head. I get you can't do that anymore.
Right.
But like to me, like, you know, when someone takes a sledgehammer or someone takes something metal and they hit you in the fucking face,
I'm right there with you.
Be over.
Right, and I'm right there with you. It was just so I was like, oh, Cody's about to kick out and they're gonna go for another like 10 minutes.
Yeah,
I was like, wow, that's how they're gonna finish it.
I think they should. What I think they should have altered was him hitting him with the title. He's laid out. He picks him up to AA him one more time.
Yeah, just his dead body, just for good measure, because he kicked out of the super AA from like the second rope.
Yeah.
And I was just like, so
or put him in the STFU
and just have him die. Just have him
fucking arm just
The ref comes in, he does the arm thing, and he's out. Yeah.
Yep.
Because then afterwards, at their like press conference or whatever, Cena was saying like, tune in tomorrow to see how I ruin wrestling. And I thought when he walked out, I thought it was just super. It was awesome leaning into the heel because he had the title turned around as like I've been carrying it on my back and just straight through.
Yep. Yeah, overall, man, I think this was a really good WrestleMania. I wouldn't say it was one of the best, but maybe it was top 10.
It was for me
it was entertaining.
For me, the opener of night 2 and the main event of night 1 kind of semi carried. I mean, there were a lot of like good underrated matches. From like the Fatal 4-Way was good. It wasn't a match, but like Stone Cold coming at the attendance got a big pop. Cena breaking the record. I'd say it's maybe like borderline top because there's only been 41. Maybe borderline top like 15 for me, but it was still a really good for everyone that was saying, oh, this WrestleMania sucked, because I was I checked Twitter afterwards and it's like, well, a lot of people were like really just like, oh, that last match was terrible. This is like this is a bottom 3 WrestleMania, and I'm like, no, there's been a lot of duds.
Yeah, I mean, again, like every match can't be a banger, and every match I think was pretty solid. Like
there were no 2 out of 10s.
Right, and again, I love chaos in wrestling, so I love like the run-ins and shit like that. I wish there was a little bit more of that. I wish there was a little bit more like turns or new realignments. I get the Heyman thing was awesome. I do think night 1 was better. Do you like the 2 nights of WrestleMania?
When I was growing up, it was one night for 4 hours, and that was it. I'm not the biggest fan of splitting it up, but I get it. It gives more of a platform for your other superstars and stuff like that too. I feel too like, because I remember it used to be you win the Royal Rumble, you get the main event, and now you're opening.
Yeah.
And all that jazz. Well, it was overall I thought it was a 7.5, 6.5, somewhere around there. I thought it was still.
I would agree.
It was still good, entertaining. It bleeds into how you said it, the wrestling off season.
Yeah. I and this just came to my mind. With the 2 nights, I don't mind the 2 nights. It was a stat card as far as in my mind with both nights. My issue with it is that I don't think night 1 can outshine night 2.
100%, because that's your. If they're going to, because I think you said that they were going to tease like they're doing SummerSlam for 2 nights. It's like they are doing SummerSlam for 2 nights. You have to have day 2 go. Not saying it's got to go ape shit but or gorilla shit, but it has to have your super draw and your big pops and your wow moments. And not saying that it didn't, but I feel too comparing it to last year's WrestleMania is going to, it's not like every WrestleMania can't end like last year's did, and last year's was awesome.
Right.
Yeah, that's just my take on it. Like yes, you can compare it to other ones, but compare it on like a scale. Don't compare it to some of your best WrestleManias ever.
Right, and to me, like it was just like for this year's night one, the Heyman turn was almost more exciting or presented more exciting than John Cena's 17th win.
Right.
And that shouldn't have been that way.
100%.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think they needed a little bit more last night.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, I mean, we got to see, history. We got to see what we like. At least for me, I got to see what I wanted to see.
Right.
But it just, I left Saturday night from my friends like on like a high of like, hell yeah, that was awesome. Tonight too, like, okay, that was WrestleMania. I can't wait for tomorrow.
I'm content, yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean that was the WrestleMania weekend. I'm glad we were able to preview and recap it. We will be back on Wednesday. And Friday, for the Legends Clubhouse. Check out New Leaf News. They are presenting the Legends Clubhouse. Check 64-Bit Legends out. That's my podcast with my co-host Melvin Troy. Check us out on social media. Like I said, if you enjoy reading content articles or content in general, check out newleafnews.network.
Got everything.
Check us out on
We got everything
X,
from
Instagram, Facebook,
games,
YouTube,
games, sports, politics, music, whatever. If gaming, tech, if you're a consumer, and we're all consumers, we all love content. Come check us out.
Yep. Even sports betting. Lawson's your guy to go to.
I love it.
So, but yeah, man, if you want to take us out.
Yeah. I mean, any final thoughts on WrestleMania?
I think we covered it, man. I think it's it won't go down as one of the greatest. I think it's you said it good. It's a solid 6 to 7. I would have to rewatch a lot of the WrestleManias, but like maybe it's not in the top half. Maybe it's not your favorite, but it accomplished a lot. Night one I thought was great. Night two, it was okay. But we'll see what happens on Raw. Tonight's the most exciting Raw of the year. Maybe we'll recap it a little bit on Wednesday. But again, this Legends Clubhouse show, man, we've said it before, we say it again. It's not all about sports. We just had, we happened to launch the show at the biggest, wrestling event of the year, the Super Bowl of wrestling. So yeah, we're gonna cover that a lot. The NBA playoffs are going on. The NHL playoffs are going on. The NFL draft is this week, I believe, right? Thursday.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
So we got a lot of sports to cover, but we're not all sports. So check us out. Like I said, we're planning on doing it Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 7:30 to roughly 8:30. I know we ran a little long today, to hit it live, but it's also on YouTube for your viewer pleasure whenever you want to view it. And any support, we appreciate. Hit the subscribe button. What about you, man?
Final thoughts. I'm excited for Wednesday's show as always. I'm just gonna wrap it up here for you. Go with that.
All right. Yeah.
As always, for New Leaf News and one half of the Legends Clubhouse, thank you so much for watching, listening, tuning in. And I hope you guys have a wonderful Monday, and we will see you guys on Wednesday. Until next time, peace.